Good evening, guys. This is ROG Approved, and we're going to be making a video today. And I've been using the ROG for about almost a year and a half now. And I just wanted to give you guys a rough idea of how games run and what are the best games to run on your ROG. I will make a more in-depth tier list, but I wanted just to give you guys a rundown on people who just got the ROG and you just don't want to waste a lot of money buying games on Steam and you buy the game and it doesn't run. So I'm gonna do a quick review on a couple of games, not every single game, but I'll give you guys like a quick summary on the games that I've tried on Steam and generally if they're playable or not. Obviously, I'll do a deep dive and I'll do a tier list as time goes. So let's begin. Okay, so how does Tomb Raider run? Okay, I've run Tomb Raider for over an hour and a bit. I've actually played Tomb Raider, the second one. We'll get to it, and that ran very well. Tomb Raider games tend to run extremely well on the Ally. Like you can get extremely good frame rates and no bugs to speak of, and yeah, it's a good experience. I definitely recommend. This is one of the top games to run on the ROG Ally. The Division runs great as well. It's quite an old game, but in terms of frame rates, I had a really good time. I've played more of the Division 2 though, but I did run the Division. But yeah, let's skip this one. But I have definitely played the Division 2, and the frame rates aren't like exactly like the best, but it's definitely playable, and I had an enjoyable experience. Okay, let's keep going. Crisis ran perfectly. So if you want to run Crisis 2 on your ROG, it's going to run really good. Borderlands 2 runs flawlessly. It's one of the top games I recommend to run on the ROG Ally. Smooth, perfect music, no glitches. Yeah, it's just a dream to run. Played over 40 hours. Assassin's Creed Unity. I totally hate the Ubisoft interface. If you guys can get over the Ubisoft interface with the logins and everything, Unity is definitely worth it. It's one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. I think I'm running it on medium settings, and the game runs flawlessly. It's a good experience. It's a movie experience. Obviously, the story is not the greatest, but in playing this on the handheld in the office, or I mean not in the office, but like when you're on the go, I think is definitely worthwhile. To have such a cinematic, rich experience in your fingertips. Uh, no comments. It's a very old game. And then I haven't played those games yet. Um, Grand Theft Auto runs great, but you'll have a lot of configuration issues. So obviously, this game is best if you play it with a controller. So yeah, you should definitely get like a DualShock or Xbox controller, because playing it on the ROG, there's gonna be sensitivity issues, trigger issues. You're gonna have to adjust the sensitivity, triggers, and you're gonna have to play around a little bit to get it to run right. But not too much, nothing to cry over. Okay. Um, we can keep going. Dragon Age. It ran smoothly, but it didn't really have controller support, which is a bit disappointing. So I don't know. I wasn't in the mood to play it on with a keyboard and mouse, so I didn't get that far. But it did seem like it ran well. But I'm also, it has EA issues, so make sure you always update your EA app. If your EA app isn't working, you're going to have issues with it randomly crashing and you're not going to understand why. So if you get a ROG and you stop playing EA games and they're all crashing and you don't know why, just update your EA app and have a go. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is not playable. The game runs perfectly, but because of the processor, there's some issue with one of the missions where you have to do a tower defense right in the beginning, and basically you're trying to stop a whole bunch of catapults from destroying your city. And yeah, unfortunately, you always run out of time because the timer is just, I think it's linked to the processor or something, but it's not really possible to finish the game. You're gonna have to go to the community and figure out how to get past that point. So I would not recommend Assassin's Creed Brotherhood for the Rogue Ally. The Witcher 2 runs great. It struggles. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna have to run it on medium to low, even though it's an old game. But it does run pretty well. But you're gonna have to run it on max power. You're gonna have to run it on turbo, 25 watts, medium to low graphics. You're gonna really have to tweak the settings. Definitely go into the community. You probably could get it running at like at least 40 FPS. So it is playable. This is I highly recommend this game has no issues, very smooth. I had a really good experience with this game. Bastion managed to finish it. Sonic Generations. I can't really remember. I think it ran okay. I think it did have some crashing issues, but um, because of the architecture, I don't know what it's using, 32, 64, I don't know, but I don't know, it did have some issues, some technical, graphical issues, but yeah, you can still get it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Obviously, the Sega, I played these games a little bit. Everything ran fine. Um, Arkham City Game of the Year, very well optimized, smooth experience. Highly recommend Batman Arkham City on the ROG. Obviously, you will have to turn it up the CDP to the max. And yeah, you can go like that. The same thing with Resident Evil. Resident Evil is a great, 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 great game. I haven't played it that much, but I really enjoyed the frame rate's smooth, everything works. It's not the greatest of games, but it's fun if you want to have something like a popcorn experience game. You don't want to think too hard. So that's how it goes. Watch Dogs, yeah, I enjoyed playing Watch Dogs on the go on the ROG Ally Z1 Extreme. It does. You do have to put up the power, at least to 15 watts performance. It doesn't need to go all the way up to 25 watts. Metro runs great. I love this game. I just don't have the patience. This game is all about conserving your resources and being patient. And there's a lot of places in this game where you really have to be patient for a long. Like in the beginning, it's quite nice and easy, but towards I'm 17 hours in, towards the middle of the game, you really have to go through long stretches of subways and but you got to run this on 25 watts full. You have to optimize it. If you can run this on Steam OS or Bazite would help a game like this, because it looks great, runs great, but yeah, you're gonna need everything. It's very well optimized, but you're still gonna need all the power of your ROG to have a good experience. Sleeping Dogs runs absolutely fantastic on the ROG. No issues, very old game. Dragon Age just has EA issues. So once you get those running, the game runs perfectly. You can put the graphics up as high, quite high. And it's one of the better games. Do not get Final Fantasy 13-2 for the ROG on Steam. It's a waste of money. Doesn't work. Just take my word for it. Square Enix is just a disaster when it comes to PC optimizations on most of their games. I'm most terribly disappointed. I'm one of the biggest Final Fantasy fans. If I'm telling you, don't bother. I've spent a lot of time trying to get this to work. The Witcher runs great, but it's also similar to Metro. You're gonna have to really optimize your setup. You're gonna have to turn the TDP up. You're gonna have at least put it on auto or 8 gig of RAM. But if you put it on 8 gig of VRAM, your ROG is gonna run a bit slower as well. So be mindful of that. Okay. Batman Arkham Knight runs great. Lightning Returns is one of the very few Final Fantasy games that actually runs really, really well. There's a part in the game where I got stuck. I was just frustrated, but that's my only issues with the game. I'm supposed to collect all the fireworks, and then to collect the final part of the firework, they won't let me. I'm supposed to go to this restaurant, and I'm supposed to get a back juice brew, and it won't let me. I don't know if it's a glitch or something. It just irritated me, so I stopped playing. Dragon's Dogma runs great. You can turn the settings up. This is the best optimized game. If you had to start playing a game on the ROG and your first game and you had to choose a game, I would choose Rise of the Tomb Raider. It'll showcase just how powerful your ROG is, and it's very cinematic and runs great, how very well optimized. Juice X, just a bit of an old game. The controls are really rubbish, and yeah, you're gonna have some issues with X is a circle, and so it runs well, but the controller configuration is not so great. Okay, I can't say anything about that yet. Nier Automata also runs pretty good, very smooth frame rate. Yeah, everything runs. There's no complaints on that. Tekken, I won't really say too much about Tekken 7. I'll talk more about Tekken 8. This is a very good game, Pyre. Oh, I enjoyed this game. Lovely visuals. You can run this on 10 watt TDP. Play this game for like 3-4 hours. It's good. Yeah, it's quite exciting. Got a really, really good story. And it's a sleeper hit. I think it's good. Diabolical runs smoothly, but I hate this game. I hate this game so much. I'm sorry, guys. I can't stand it. It's unbelievably difficult. Maybe I'm just too old, but yeah. This game, I have not really tested it, but I think it'll run well. But I won't say anything on it. Do not get Assassin's Creed Origins for the ROG. It doesn't work. It's extremely stuttery, buggy, crashy. It's an absolute disaster. It's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. Neo is also not good. The game runs really well, but it's not optimized. It's a kind of an old game, so you will get some weird issues, but you can play it. I'm not saying don't get it. You can play it, but just it's not optimized for the ROG at all. So if you are gonna play it, maybe play it with a screen, full screen. Like what I'm doing now. I have a screen, but if you're trying to play it on handheld mode, I don't recommend it. This game runs flawlessly, no issues, no complaints. Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age runs really, really well. Perfect, actually. No issues. The Crew runs very well as well. I recommend it as a top game if you're into racing games. Definitely right up there. Monster Hunter World runs good. Make sure all your drivers are updated. That makes a huge difference. If your shaders are not updated or your graphics, your game's gonna run like ass. But it's actually quite good. It's good story. I had a good experience with it, and you can run it on 15 watts. Shadow of Tomb Raider is excellent. Blows my mind. This is the second game I recommend, and I'm not favoring Tomb Raider. It's just a really good game, and it really showcases how powerful the Z1 Extreme is. This game looks marvelous, and you can play this game for hours. This is a very smooth experience. Soul Calibur, I had a good time playing it. Battlefield 5 runs really good, unexpectedly good. No issues, no complaints. Yeah, it actually runs pretty well, surprisingly. Dirt Rally 2, no issues there as well. Runs pretty smooth. It just takes up a lot of storage space. That was my only complaint, A rally game that takes over 100 gig is, it's like, is not my cup, not up my alley. Katana Zero, flawless, perfect game. Mortal Kombat 2 runs great as well. You just make sure you optimize all your settings and it runs very smooth. The Yakuza games is an amazing experience. Runs well, one of the best running games. After Shadow of Tomb Raider 2 and 3, I highly recommend you try the whole entire Yakuza series on the ROG Ally. It's just a wonderful experience. It's like it was built for this machine, It's just a really exciting, thrilling game. Destiny 2 runs really well. So, unsurprisingly, I don't know why I say 0 hours, but I've played it quite a bit, and it ran really well. NFS Heat, yeah, it runs also quite well. No issues, no complaints. One of these games are definitely highly recommended that you play. Doom Eternal, definitely one of the better games out there. Um, I think it's runs great, no issues, seamless experience. Highly recommended. One, yeah, all top 4 games you should play. Squadrons runs, apart from the EA issues, if your app is not updated, it also runs pretty good, and Cyberpunk included. Also runs very, very, very well. Yeah, Yakuza, I've spoken about that. Forza is a flawless game. The best, I think, one of the best, if not the best, racing game to get on the ROG Ally. Graphics are beautiful. Frame rate not too bad. You're gonna have to tweak it up, run it on max. But yeah, it's a good, relatively good experience. Yakuza, yeah, again, Mass Effect runs amazingly well. I've played only Mass Effect 1 and 2 though, but from what I've seen, it was quite a good experience. Scarlet Witch, I finished the game. It was amazing. The ROG Ally performed well. No bugs, no tests. Rogue Company as well. Probably the best for me multiplayer on the ROG. I spent a lot of time on it. But I think Marvel Rivals is going to replace that. Tales of Arise, I also finished the game. Very good experience. No issues. Frame rates held up really, really good. Infinite had a lot of problems, a lot of glitches. The controller's not so lacquer. You're gonna have to buy a controller. Playing this on the ROG, the controllers just didn't work out. There was issues with the triggers, a multitude of issues, and the loading times are horrendous, horrific. So I wouldn't recommend Halo. Monster Hunter Rise runs flawlessly. Had a really good experience. God of War is it's a good experience, but the frame rate and everything, you really got to tweak your settings. It's but ultimately it's a very good experience. Um, King of Fighters runs perfectly, flawlessly. Chivalry 2 as well. Uh, Tiny Tina, oh, what an amazing, wonderful game. You'll have a good time on this. Actually, I need to install this sometime soon. And Unbound it runs also really well. This has the best multiplayer. If you want to play multiplayer on your ROG Ally, get NFS Unbound because there's still lots of people online. It's kind of difficult to find a more online multiplayer racing game with consistent people that are around, So if you want to just jump into a game and just start racing multiplayer online, this is definitely the best game right now. It's got a very good community still. Assassin's Creed, cannot say yet. The Division 2, it's a bit buggy, but it does run. It's playable. You won't. The ROG Ally struggles a bit, but if you turn the graphics down a little bit, it's playable. You'll have a good experience. The Hogwarts barely runs. You will have stuttering and lags, and no, I didn't really see any crashes, but yeah, don't play this play it on handheld mode, play it on 720p, turn the settings down to low. You'll have a decent experience, but you'll have frequent stutters and lags. Jedi Survivor is, it's not a good experience. You can finish the game, but you won't enjoy it. Constant lags, stutters, depending on the areas. There's some areas that run really well. There's some like Coruscant or other areas run really bad. It's just a mixed bag overall. I wouldn't recommend it, but since I paid for it, I have to play it, and it's a really good game. But on the ROG Ally, no. Tekken 8, I actually have the game. It's really good. But there's issues with it. You can't play it for more than an hour without your ROG overheating. So there's some overheating issues with it when you play Tekken. I don't know why. So Tekken really pushes I'm running it on manual, 25 watts, with the fans set to max. I don't know if I can show you. So Tekken 8 has this unique problem where it runs great and all, but like if you You see, like, I'm on manual mode, and this is the only way you could get it to run. So basically what happens is, even if your ROG is plugged in, if you play for like more than 45 minutes or so, the temperatures get too high and your ROG stops charging, and you get battery drain, and then yeah, it's your ROG just stops charging, and you have to wait until your ROG cools down before it charges again. So you can't really play Tekken for more than an hour. I've got this crazy fan speed setup, you know. I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly, but yeah. But this is like my Hail Mary if I want to run a AAA game. That's my manual setup, you know. I hope I don't cook it, but yeah. I just put everything to the max. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. I hope I don't end up blowing up my ROG. You know. So I need to figure out this fan distribution properly. But yeah, as you can see, that's what I was talking about. So Tekken 8 has an issue where it overheats on all TDPs. Okay. Let me just close this. Okay. We're almost done, guys. Okay, cool. So let's go. Okay, so now Riders Republic runs awesome. Good experience. Formula 1, very good experience. Overwatch, good experience. Yeah, good experience. Tekken 8, just the overheating issue. Helldivers runs great. Final Fantasy 16, unplayable. Don't listen to what they say. I don't know. I've tried a lot of settings. I'm sure some people have managed to get it to work, but they're in the minority. And I'm not sure those people have actually finished the game, because I've played a little bit into the game, and I keep getting errors. And the game is just, it takes like over 20 minutes just to get into the game, and it's unplayable. You know, I was actually scared that, because I recently bought Final Fantasy Rebirth, that I was going to have the same issues, because I really like Final Fantasy games, but it seems like the Final Fantasy Rebirth has been verified for Steam, and if it's verified for Steam, it's a good news for us. So I think this game will run a lot better. Final Fantasy Rebirth will run a lot better than Final Fantasy 16. And Rivals just barely will run on your ROG. Just try not to play it on with a screen. Turn all your settings down to super low, and you just get it to run barely. Okay guys, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's my review, my summary review on the kind of games you can play on the ROG. Thank you. Bye.